Good morning. Today on 20th June 2016, just 3 days before the EU membership referendum on Thursday on 23rd June, I would like to deliver my words and another campaign for Britain to remain in the European Union. As I already decide to vote, if I'm in Britain, if I'm Britain, I will enthusiast to vote Britain to remain in the European Union because Britain is stronger in Europe. But first, I would like to begin with this simple word: no to Brexit. Why? Because Brexit will cause so many troubles that doesn't realize by Brexit supporters and even Brexit leaders like Boris Johnson, Nigel Farage, Michael Gove, George Galloway. Come on, guys. They're just power-seeking politicians that would like to create big trouble for the nation, and Britain doesn't need them at all in the national politics. Maybe you think that Boris Johnson is a successful mayor of London, but in the national politics, Britain doesn't need him. Nigel Farage, a member of the European Parliament, but do Britain need him? No. Michael Gove, Lord Chancellor, and the current Ministry of Justice. If he becomes Prime Minister, is Britain really need Michael Gove as Prime Minister? No. Any other politicians who support Britain to leave the European Union wanted to become Prime Minister. Are British people need them? No. They're just power-seeking politicians. They're just image-seeking politicians that will create big trouble for the UK, and I won't never imagine that happen. I won't never allow that thing to happen. That's why I campaign for Britain to stay in the European Union, and even let a former military general, let a retired military general to become Prime Minister of the United Kingdom to eradicate power-seeking politicians, just like what Thailand does. Just like what Thailand does under the current military junta. But I understand the British armed forces aren't have enough power to enter the British politics, as the Constitution guarantees that. That the UK is not like Thailand. That the UK is not like Thailand, which is a constitutional monarchy without active military intervention in the national politics. Just like what Thailand does. Military is active in national politics, but that's not my topic for today. Well, since the assassination of the Right Honourable Alan John Cox, or Jill Cox MP, our camp, Britain Stronger in Europe, is leading in the current opinion polls, although it's so narrow. Although our group, our camp, still maintain a narrow lead from the opposite camp, Vote Leave. Vote Leave politicians are just power-seeking and image-seeking politicians, and Britain doesn't need them at all. No, Britain doesn't need Nigel Farage as Prime Minister. Not even Michael Gove, not even Boris Johnson, and not even Tory, the Conservative Party members of Parliament who endorse Britain to leave the European Union. Come on, they're just junk in British politics. They're just useless in British politics, and Britain doesn't need them at all. Because, Britain doesn't need the leader of the House of Commons, Chris Grayling, to become Prime Minister. No, not even Ian Duncan Smith, former former work secretary. Not even in the because they. So for short, Britain doesn't need Eurosceptic, power-seeking, and image-seeking politicians to become prime minister because they will create a big trouble with the United. They will create a big trouble for the United Kingdom because their powers are mostly benefited their groups, their political parties, and themselves. If one of them become prime minister of the United Kingdom, so Downing Street doesn't need them at all. So Westminster doesn't need them at all. Westminster doesn't need Nigel Farage, doesn't need George Galloway, doesn't need even the Tories elite like Ian Dinkins Smith, Michael Howard, and then Chris Grayling and Michael Gove to become Prime Minister of the UK? No. They're just power-seeking and image-seeking politicians that will create big troubles for the nation if they become Prime Minister. Because they will benefit only for their groups, only for their political parties, and only for their people. So Britain doesn't need them. No. But Britain needs a pro-European Prime Minister, a pro-European Chief Executive that will not only able to deal with the European Union members, but also able to approach Russia in a mannered way. And also needed a pro-European Prime Minister to be able to conduct the good deal with Turkey, to be able to bring Turkey and Ukraine into the European Union. So thus Britain will able to bring Norway and Switzerland to the European Union, making the European Union more larger. Even that's fine if Britain maintains an opt-out from an ever closer union, but I think Britain could bring Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland, Ukraine, and Turkey to join the European Union in the future, making EU more larger, making European Union into a European unity. That's what my dream. That's my dream. If Britain stays in the European Union on 23rd June. That's fine if the UK maintain an opt-out on ever closer union. That's fine. But I think Britain would make a new chapter in the European history by transforming the European Union to a European unity that will stretch from Iceland to Russia. That's so simple. That's so simple in my own opinion. The only requirement is only Britain stay in the European Union. That's all. If Britain leaves, I agree with the French minister that stated like this. If Britain leaves the European Union, Britain will just like Guernsey. Or even, Britain will face the same fate as Indonesia, at risk to become a failed nation. Or even Thailand, at risk with people, at risk with daily arguments within the British people. So, yeah, if you watch the rhetorics by, Brexit politicians, pro-Brexit politicians, let's take our country back. Let Britain control themselves, huh? Let Britain control themselves without intervention from Brussels, huh? I think they don't learn much about sovereignty. Yeah, because they are too dumb to launch a statement like that. You know, the UK is a sovereign state. Remember that. The UK is a sovereign state, And even Belgium hasn't enough control UK's affairs, although Brexit supporters always thought Brussels ruled Britain very much. Brussels ruled Britain very much. Luxembourg rules Britain. Blah 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 blah. Until my ear got bored listening to that. But in fact, the UK is ruled by Britons. Is ruled by Britons themselves. The UK is actually controlled by Britons themselves. Not even Brussels controls the UK. Not even Luxembourg. Not even Luxembourg, and not even Vatican. Not even Vatican. Not even the Holy Pope controls the UK. Remember that. And not even a person like Vladimir Putin able to control the UK, because the UK controlled by the Britons, not by Brussels, not by Moscow, not by Washington, not even by Vatican and Beijing. The UK controls themselves, and the UK also controls the world. So Brussels controlled by London. The White House is controlled by Westminster. Kremlin is controlled by, again, the Westminster. China, Japan, controlled by Britain. Remember that. Controlled by Britain. Remember that. So Britain controls the world. Remember, guys. Yeah. So the superpower is not the United States of America. Many of you stated that the US is a superpower. Come on, guys. The US is not a superpower. If the US is a superpower, why does it only happen on the present days? The US is a former British colony. And why does the US become superpower these days? In fact, the real superpower is the UK, not the US. The real superpower is this country, the UK, not the United States of America. So we need to change our perception of superpower. UK is the superpower of all time. Not even the US, not even Russia. The UK has a supremacy above the European Union. So why does Brexit supporters always thought that Britain ruled Brussels ruled UK very much, blah 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 blah, that EU rules Britain, Juncker Juncker controls Britain, blah 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 blah, till I get bored. But in fact, let me tell you, Britain controls the world, and Britain controls the US. Britain controls Putin. If Vladimir Putin plans to launch a soldier, to launch big armed forces, to start a war against NATO, Britain will warn Putin it will be more risky. Not only for Putin, but also for Russia. It will make the country fall into a big number of deficits. And I believe Vladimir Putin will be trialed for that. If that happens. If that happens, Russians will become starving, unhappy, arguing each other, and will fall to a complicated state of Russia. Not Russian Federation, but Russian divide, if that's happened. And Britain, me as a Briton, warn President Putin of that thing. So, if Boris Johnson and Brexit politicians are stated like this, take our control back. Britain controls the world. Nobody controls Britain except the oligarchs. Nobody controls Britain. Vatican, although there's a treaty in 1273, there's a treaty, but I believe it's it's just a fake conspiracy theory that Britain agrees with Vatican to lease all of British Isles, all of states in the United Kingdom, leased to the Pope. So Pope controls the UK? No, that's not true. Brussels doesn't even control the UK, not even Vatican and the Holy Pope, not even Vladimir Putin from Kremlin, not even the White House, not even the Communist Party of China, not even Japan controls the UK. But UK controls them and controls the world. So the UK is the actual superpower, and it will be more greater if the UK stays with the European Union. Remember that. So I reject Brexit because Brexit will create a bad history for Britain. It will be a repeat of the collapse of the Soviet Union in 1991 if Britain leaves the European Union. The fall of Soviet Union, the separation of the Czech Republic and the separation of Czechoslovakia, that will be that will create a big nightmare for the UK. If the UK leaves the European Union, I won't never let that thing to happen. So 23rd June 2016, vote Britain to stay with the European Union, vote Britain to remain in the European Union in order to create a much greater Britain, stronger Britain, more stable Britain, more peaceful Britain, more stable Britain, and more happy Britain, a more united Britain with the European Union. I'm J. Cosmos Chow, and I'm responsible for this message. Thank you.